October 15th, 2013, 6:23 in the morning. That's when my knees gave out and I hit the linoleum floor of my kitchen like a sack of cement. The coffee was still brewing. The smell of Maxwell House mixed with the metallic taste of fear in my mouth. I couldn't get up. For the first time in 82 years, my body had completely betrayed me. My neighbor, Mrs. Rodriguez, heard the crash through our thin apartment walls. She found me there, sprawled next to my breakfast table, the same table where I'd eaten 10,000 meals, read 10,000 newspapers, paid 10,000 bills. Now I couldn't even lift myself off the floor next to it. The paramedics were young, younger than my grandson. They lifted me like I was already dead weight. In the ambulance, one of them kept checking my pulse, shaking his head. I wanted to tell him I wasn't gone yet, but the words wouldn't come. St. Mary's Hospital smelled like disinfectant and defeat. They rolled me into emergency room number 7. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead like dying insects. Dr. Patterson walked in 30 minutes later, tall, white coat, clipboard in hand. He looked at my chart longer than he looked at me. "Mr. Herrera," he said, not even sitting down, "your body is done." 4 words. 30 years of medical school. 4 words. "What does that mean?" I asked. "Your heart is operating at 30% capacity. Your kidneys are failing. Your blood pressure is dangerously high. At your age, with your condition, we're looking at maybe 6 months, maybe less." He said it like he was reading the weather report. "Sunny today. Chance of death by Christmas." What are my options? Comfort care. Make your peace. Spend time with family. We can manage the pain, but we can't fix what's broken. I stared at the ceiling tiles. 23 tiles in a 4x6 grid. I counted them twice while he kept talking about hospice care and end-of-life planning. The beeping of machines, the shuffle of nurses' shoes in the hallway, the sound of giving up. They kept me for a week. Every morning Dr. Patterson made his rounds. Every morning he looked more surprised that I was still breathing. My daughter Carmen visited every day. She brought me chicken soup from home and tried to hide the tears in her eyes. "Papa," she said on the 4th day, "maybe we should start looking at those places Dr. Patterson mentioned. The nice ones, with gardens. Nice places with gardens. That's what we call the place where people go to die." I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you're still here, maybe you understand what I'm talking about. Most people walk away when stories get this heavy. The fact that you're still listening, that means something. Hit subscribe. I've got more to tell. They discharged me on a Tuesday. I walked out of St. Mary's with a bag full of pills and a head full of doubt. Carmen wanted to take me to her house. "You shouldn't be alone, Papa." But I needed to be alone. I needed to think. My apartment felt different, smaller, like the walls were closing in, waiting for me to die. I sat in my recliner, the same brown lazy boy I'd owned for 15 years, and looked around. The family photos on the mantel, the stack of unread newspapers, the coffee maker that started this whole mess. Dr. Patterson had given me a schedule. Take these pills at 8, these at noon, these before bed. Don't lift anything heavy. Don't climb stairs. Don't get excited. Don't live. I followed his orders for exactly 1 week. That's when I remembered my grandfather, Abuelo Miguel. He lived to be 97, worked in the copper mines in Arizona until he was 89. Never saw a doctor until the day before he died. I remembered sitting on his porch in Tucson when I was 10 years old, watching him tend his garden. Mijo, he used to say, the body is like a plant. It grows where you water it. I had been watering defeat. I had been watering surrender. The next morning I walked to the Walmart on 5th Street. It took me 40 minutes. I had to stop 3 times to catch my breath, but I made it. I bought a packet of tomato seeds, cherry tomatoes, the kind my wife used to grow in our backyard before she passed. The cashier was a young girl with purple hair and too much makeup. She looked at me like I was lost. "You okay, sir?" she asked. "I'm planting a garden," I said. "That's nice," she said, the way young people say things when they're not really listening. I walked home with those seeds in my pocket like they were gold coins. My backyard was a disaster. Weeds taller than my knees. The old garden bed was nothing but hard dirt and dead leaves. I spent 3 hours that first day just clearing a small patch. My back ached. My hands bled. But something inside me felt alive for the first time in months. Dr. Patterson called the next week to schedule a follow-up appointment. "How are you feeling, Mr. Herrera?" "Different," I said. "Different how?" "Like maybe I'm not done yet." He didn't like that answer. He wanted me to come in for more tests, blood work, EKGs, more reasons to count down the days I had left. I missed the appointment. I was too busy digging. The tomatoes sprouted in early December, tiny green shoots pushing through the soil like little hands reaching for the sun. I watered them every morning. I talked to them. I told them about my wife, about Carmen, about the grandson who was too busy with his own life to visit. By February, I had my first tomatoes, small but perfect. I ate one standing in my garden at sunrise. The taste was like childhood, like hope. Carmen noticed the change when she visited in March. "Papa, you look, I don't know, better?" "I feel better." "Are you taking your medications?" "Some of them." "Papa, Carmen, when was the last time you saw me smile?" She thought about it. "I don't remember. I'm smiling now." By summer, my garden had expanded to cover half the backyard. Tomatoes, peppers, cilantro, mint. The neighbors started stopping by to see what I was growing. Mrs. Rodriguez brought me her old garden tools. Mr. Kim from down the street helped me build raised beds. I read something that changed everything. It said patience after 60 is the fastest way to die forgotten. My doctor said wait. I stopped waiting. That guide is in the description below. Dr. Patterson finally caught up with me in September. He showed up at my house unannounced. I was in the backyard harvesting peppers. "Mr. Herrera, you've missed 4 appointments." "I've been busy." He looked around at my garden. Confusion crossed his face like he was seeing something that wasn't supposed to exist. "How are you feeling?" "Like a man who's not done yet." "I need to run some tests." "Run them here," I said, handing him a tomato. "Tell me what's wrong with this." He held the tomato like it might explode. "Mr. Herrera, this is serious. Your condition..." "My condition is that I'm alive, and I plan to stay that way." The test came back in October. Dr. Patterson called me into his office. He sat behind his desk with the same clipboard, the same white coat, but his face was different. Confused, maybe a little afraid. I don't understand these results, he said. What don't you understand? Your heart function has improved to 60%. Your kidney function is normal. Your blood pressure is, well, it's better than mine. Maybe your machine is broken. We ran the test 3 times. I leaned back in his uncomfortable plastic chair, the same chair where he delivered my death sentence 13 months earlier. Dr. Patterson, can I ask you something? Of course. When you told me my body was done, did you mean it? Based on the evidence at the time, yes. And now? Now I don't know what to think. Think about this. I stopped waiting to die. I started working to live. Maybe that's the difference. He made notes in my file, lots of notes. I could see him trying to find a medical explanation for what couldn't be explained medically. What did you change, he asked. Everything. I told him about the garden, about the morning walks to Home Depot for supplies, about the neighbor kids who helped me plant seeds, about the salsa I made from my own vegetables and shared with everyone on the block. I stopped taking half my medications, I said. Which ones? The ones that made me feel dead inside. He wasn't happy about that. He wanted to restart everything, get me back on the program that was killing me slowly. Dr. Patterson, with respect, you were wrong. Medicine isn't always exact. You told me I had 6 months. It's been 14 months. I'm not just alive, I'm living. I kept going to his office for the next 2 years. Not because I had to, because I wanted him to see what was possible. Every visit the test got better. Every visit he got more confused. By year 3, he stopped trying to explain it. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it, he said. I'm growing things, that's what I'm doing. Growing things? Plants. Hope. Reasons to wake up tomorrow. I'm 93 now. 11 years since Dr. Patterson told me I was done. My garden covers my entire backyard and half the front yard. The city newspaper did a story about me last month. The miracle gardener of Elm Street. They wanted to know my secret. I told them there was no secret. Just work, just purpose, just deciding that today isn't the day you give up. My great-granddaughter comes to visit now. She's 7. She helps me water the plants and asks a million questions about everything. Yesterday she asked me why some plants die and others keep growing. Same soil, same water, same sun, I told her. Some plants decide to quit. Others decide to keep reaching. Which kind are you, great-grandpa? The reaching kind, mija. Always the reaching kind. Dr. Patterson retired last year. On his last day, he stopped by my house. We sat in my garden drinking coffee I made from beans I grow myself. I owe you an apology, he said. For what? For forgetting that healing isn't just about medicine. You didn't forget. You never learned it. We sat in silence for a while. The tomatoes were heavy on the vine. The peppers were ready for harvest. Bees buzzed from flower to flower, doing their work. Can I ask you something, he said. Sure. Are you afraid of dying? I was. When you told me I was dying, I was terrified. Now I'm too busy living to worry about dying. He finished his coffee and stood to leave. Thank you, he said. For what? For teaching me that sometimes the best medicine is proving the doctor wrong. After everything I went through, I found the 60-year rule. It has 9 rules that explain exactly why everything I believed was wrong after 60. It changed how I see my family, my health, my money, everything. Check the description. Last month, Carmen brought her new grandson to meet me. 4 generations in my garden. I was holding this tiny baby, surrounded by plants I grew with these old hands, watching my family laugh and eat vegetables that came from soil everyone said was too old to produce anything good. Papa, Carmen said, remember when Dr. Patterson said you were done? I remember. What would you say to him now? I looked at that baby in my arms. I looked at my garden. I looked at my family gathered around my table, eating food I grew myself at 93 years old. I'd say thank you. Thank you for giving me something to prove wrong. The sun was setting behind my tomato plants, the same sun that rises every morning over soil that keeps producing life. The same sun that will rise tomorrow, and the next day, and the day after that. As long as there's ground to work and seeds to plant, I'm not done. None of us are done until we decide we're done. And I'm not deciding that today. Tomorrow I'm planting winter squash.